I'm Gary, and this is Coasting with Culture, which is all about combining theme park visits and riding roller coasters with various cultural experiences around the world. While the last stumble of 2022 had come and gone, there was one last get-together for the Buzz Bars Coaster Club before the end of the year. We'll join the crew for the Wobble across New York as they kick off at the American Dream for some rides at Nickelodeon Universe, then head over to Brooklyn for a visit to Other Half Brewing. While I had been on several stumbles up to this point, I had yet to join a Wobble, the smaller events of Buzz Bars that usually last a day rather than a full weekend. Most of the previous Wobbles had fallen on dates that wouldn't work for me due to work, but having switched back to Tours Northwest and having a lighter schedule for the fall, one Wobble happened to come on a weekend that I didn't already have plans for. The Gobble Wobble, as it was being referred to, had everyone who was attending meeting at American Dream in the Meadowlands of New Jersey to spend a few hours at Nickelodeon Universe, then spending the evening over in Brooklyn for a visit to Other Half Brewing. Since I was still missing Sandy's Blasting Bronco from my previous visit to the park and had the time to do so, I began looking into some options for flying standby with Southwest, and there were a few, as long as I could get a few things done at home. Once that was all squared away, all I had to do was get to the airport to kick off a quick Wobble weekend. On one hand, I really wish Southwest had more direct destinations from SeaTac located in other parts of the country, but my timing worked out so that I could make the one daily flight to Chicago. And I also lucked out being able to get an aisle seat on a fairly full plane. With a short layover, I had confirmation that I'd be heading on to the evening flight into Philadelphia. Since it was a late arrival, I went ahead and grabbed a rental car, then crashed at a nearby hotel for the night. The following morning, I made the drive up to the Meadowlands area, passing by the likes of Newark Airport and spots where you could see New York City on the other side of the Hudson. As I arrived to the American Dream parking garage, there was a rather familiar sight when it comes to Buzz Bars and parking areas. After a few pre-game drinks, we made our way to Nickelodeon Universe. It was nice to see the crowds for American Dream compared to the way it was when I visited the year before, and it was neat to see the variety of events they were hosting, from a women's pro hockey game on their ice skating rink to a special international festival celebrating different cultures. Hopefully this is a sign that the large shopping and entertainment complex has a longer future ahead, especially as I'd hate to see a fairly nice theme park get closed down. Much like the mall, it was good to see some larger crowds in the park, and I feel that having their pay-per-ride option now will certainly help bring more folks in who might just want to enjoy a ride or two. Speaking of their rides, I was really looking forward to the chance at some closure from my first visit since Sandy's Blasting Bronco was open this time. Bye guys! I have to admit, the novelty of the ride running through its course forward and backward might have swayed my initial thoughts on the ride.
What do you think of Sandy's Blasting?
That was pretty solid. The airtime in the front car there going backward, that was kind of probably hard to do.
Yeah!
In a way, especially with the way that you were just in and out kind of.
Agreed.
Pretty cool.
Agreed. I'd say the front launch, like the frontwards part of the ride, felt like a skyrocket too a little bit.
Yeah.
Out of 10, what would you give that? You can go decimal points.
Minimum of 8.
Okay.
Minimum of 8.
Okay. I don't know if I'm going to go that high. I think I'm going, ooh. That's really good.
I mean, that's part of it's because of the uniqueness of it.
Yeah. I'm going to go 7.09.
While my rating might have been a little high thinking about it more, I still really enjoyed it and would easily call it my favorite in the park. Along with completing the park's coaster collection, I had a chance to re-ride several of the park's coasters, including Timmy's Half-Pipe Havoc, which was still a lot of fun, especially with the reactions of some buzz bars who aren't as big of fans of spinning. Shellraiser was still riding pretty rough and caused me some neck pain from a bump in the bottom of the big drop when I rode it a second time. It's a shame because it's really supposed to be the park's signature ride.
Yeah, boy! Oh, let's go.
As we rode Shredder, we didn't quite get to the same level of spinning Nicole and I had when I was here last, even though we had a heavy loaded car, but it was still a fun ride. After a couple hours for some coasters and grabbing a quick lunch at the food court, we began what turned into a long, traffic-filled trek across Manhattan, over to Brooklyn, where we'd get to enjoy one of Kyrie's favorite breweries, Other Half. This location of Other Half is pretty scenic, sitting alongside the East River and Domino Park, and the brewery itself is a great setting for getting together with friends, which is exactly what we did. The beer they offered that I enjoyed the most was their Ice Bucket Hazy Pale Ale. As much as I would have loved to stick around longer and join everyone who met up for breakfast the following morning, I only had so many options to be able to get back home in time for work, which meant getting back to Philly after midnight and camping out near security for a couple hours so I could catch the first flight back to Chicago. Because of the longer connection, I had plenty of time for a breakfast beer and finding a corner for a nap before the last leg home. The Seattle flight was quite full, which meant I was stuck in the middle. But this flight might have been the closest I've ever been to Mount Rainier from up in the air, making for an excellent view before we landed. And that was my first time joining Buzz Bars for a Wobble. It was great getting to try out a shorter event, and I certainly hope there's a chance to go to more of them in the future. Don't forget to check out the link in the description for more information about the Buzz Bars Coaster Club and the Buzz Bars YouTube channel for a look at the shenanigans that comes with attending an event. You can also find links to Bryant's Coaster 365 channel and the videos he posted from our visit to the park, including the one featuring yours truly. While there would be some time before getting to join Buzz Bars again, there was one final adventure for 2022, which entailed heading back to a few places from my past. Thank you for watching this video from Coasting with Culture. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up and click on the subscribe button to see future videos here on YouTube, like these ones which you may enjoy as well. Additional content can be found at coastingwithculture.com, and you can also follow Coasting with Culture on various social media channels at CoastWCulture for announcements, previews, and updates. Thanks again for watching, and until next time, take care and safe travels.